Today's episode is brought to you by Bravenly Hydrate, because regular water is just not going to cut it. And the main brand sports drinks got stuff you don't need to consume. So I recommend hitting the link in the bio and checking out Bravenly Hydrate. Lemon lime is my favorite flavor, but I recommend checking out more of Bravenly products. It's really great stuff for your health and well-being. So hit the link in the bio to find out more about Bravenly products. Of like, man, to really address in your 20s and 30s of like, yeah, God's given me a vision, a calling, a career, something to really develop and grow in and move towards, but also like, how do I actually enjoy it while I'm in it?
Yeah. And that is, for me, one of the hardest things to do is to be where my feet are, to really be grateful. And it's almost like it's a muscle you have to work.
Welcome to Minor Forge. Excited to be here with Bo Morgan. What's up, Bo?
What's up? What's going on?
We're excited to come to y'all on Wednesdays. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, follow.
Get
all
us
that
in
jazz.
your algorithm.
Yes.
It's all about the algorithm.
All about that algorithm, baby.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, so you can see more of this beautiful mug.
In our quarters.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Men Are Forged, the podcast where Cartwright Morris and Bo Morgan talk about things that guys in their 20s and 30s are dealing with, struggling with, trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is, you can go back and look at the episode where Cartwright and I talk about how we got to know each other and through, Cartwright's mentorship of me.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, we're kind of figuring this out in real time.
Oh, 100%.
This is not the place you go to be like, hey, these guys have all the answers, even though Cartwright's got a bunch. This is like, hey, let's wrestle together here and figure out, what God is really trying to teach us rather than the outcome we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Which is what I really like about this.
I'm a little bit of I led a group of like young professionals for about a year or so, and I brought in guest speakers, about 10 or 12. And I did a survey of all the guest speakers from the guys that took the group of who stood out. And what was wild was like, I brought in some like heavy hitters, guys in their 60s and 70s that had really been successful in business, and they could really had a lot of great things to say, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of things. But then there's a couple of guys that were in like their late 40s, early 50s that I got to speak. And after getting everybody's feedback, the ones they gravitated towards was the guys in the 40s and 50s, meaning to your point, it's kind of the guys a couple steps still figuring it out, still grinding.
Still in the grind.
Yeah,
they're still.
So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a little bit of a.
No, I could totally, and I can relate to that too. I mean, you love listening to the guys that are like retired age,
they've done
stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, think about how different it was for them in the 80s and 90s.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, they didn't have this that they were addicted to.
No,
their phone, like they
constant distractions. Yeah,
constant distractions, like immediate access to all kinds of terrible things that can like wreck your marriage and your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had to really go after it to find it.
Yeah, they had to like hide their Playboy under their mattress. I mean, like, using that as an example. And so there's so much wisdom to be learned from those guys. Not taking away from that, but here it's like, what I love about it is, man, we're trying to find guys like, especially, you and I are definitely an example of that. Are in the middle of the wrestling match.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to be a quote unquote good Christian, good father and good husband. But you have your calendar full and you're doing all the things you're trying to get to that next thing, which brings me to my point. There's a lot of guys, and this has been a little bit of a theme so far in the episodes we've recorded, but there's a lot of guys that feel like once they get the next thing, they will finally feel settled. Or they'll feel at peace. Right. Things that we've talked about in episode 1, 2, 3, and even 4 a little bit, I think, so far. But I love how we're hammering home on this because this really probably may be a theme that's kind of ribboned into or weaved into a lot of the episodes that we record, because I think it could be a core of a lot of the issues that guys find. But they think that the new job, the more money, Man, if I can just get to this new season of life, if my 3-month-old, man, I can't wait till he's 1.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
or
I can't wait till he's throwing a ball with me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And time and time again, it's proven that does not work. And we're seeing, and in this episode, we'll talk a little bit about history, but that's not just unique to today, right? That's something that people have dealt with forever.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was teeing up, because I love, obviously I love talking about things in culture and sports and news, but also like, something we will definitely hit on in the show, Bo, is the biblical context, but also the historical context. And I think there is something too. And if anybody's a fan of Andrew Schultz, he kind of he hit on this, I feel like, recently. Not to say condoning his comedy routine, but he's hilarious. I think so. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Anyway, but that's funny. But he had a thought, was like, man, the people that came over here 300 years ago, they had, like, there was freedom of religion. There was creating a life for themselves that they couldn't do where they lived, and especially in Europe. Like Malcolm Gladwell, which I'm not a huge fan of him, but I did really love his book, Outliers. He had a whole chapter on this, on Scott.
He's still living it.
Yeah. Scott's Irish. These are a group of people that it's like mainly lowland Scots, Northern Ireland, like constant fighting with the British. They lived in very hilly, wet environments, constantly in conflict. There's a certain type of person, and that's the type of person that came to the U.S. in the late 17th century, early 18th century, right before the Revolutionary, like the 100 years leading up to the Revolutionary War. Yeah. And they came here indentured, I think I'm saying this right, indentured servitude, or a form of almost slavery. Or like, hey, 7-8 years, you come, I will pay for your way over, and you and your family to come to the U.S., but you are basically work for me for 7 or 8 years, and you're basically working off your freedom. And then, but once you do, for you to go, you can go settle your own land, but it's going to be very dangerous. It's going to be very, you're going to be contending against, one, you're fighting the natives that are there, and then you're fighting other, the Hatfields and McCoys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it is
basically, we're not going to help you out.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's frontier. It's frontier land. And you're living, and it's like, and it's very similar to what they came from in hilly, wet country. Like if you ever go to the Smoky Mountains and the Appalachians, the western part of the Appalachians, that's what it was. And so anyway, I think there was that mindset set in, whether they were, a lot of them were Christians, some they weren't, but it was that mindset of like the next thing that's where my family, all right, once we get settled, once we get past a certain point, there's a better tomorrow. Mm-hmm. There's something better for my family. And I don't necessarily, that's why I kind of tee that up. I don't want to sit or completely bash that mindset.
No, yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah, there's something. Yeah. I mean,
God put it in us.
Yeah, there's some level of mission, vision, whatever, of what I see.
For something.
Yeah, but it also can take you away from the present. It could take you away from things that matter, and the memories that you're currently creating. And we could easily just live that grass is green on the other side and completely miss the present. But there's something really great, Anyway, I just think that mindset was really hard in my 20s and 30s, especially in the context of earning money, career development. I mean, even, y'all single guy. I mean, I was single until I was 36. The whole concept of just that, of like, man, this unknown and unsettledness and insecurity will go away once I get married.
Yeah.
Once I start having kids, that kind of thing. Where you're constantly looking, it's like, man, there was something really good to find in my single years. I actually, thankfully, I got enough advice, but there were really moments where I missed the fun or I missed the development of just enjoying being single, and now it's wild to think about it as a dad. You know, my wife will go out of town with my son, and I'm like, what did I do with all my time? What the heck? But anyway, yeah, I think that is something, to really hit on, of like, man, to really address in your 20s and 30s of like, yeah, God's given me a vision, a calling, a career, something to really develop and grow in and move towards, but also like, how do I actually enjoy it while I'm in it?
Yeah. And that is, for me, one of the hardest things to do is to be where my feet are, to really be grateful. And it's almost like it's a muscle you have to work. What I'm learning is that it's not something you're always going to feel like doing, but it's something that, man, if you can develop this habit of being grateful for the things that you have right now.
Oh, man.
Like, so instead of being like, man, I'll be so grateful once I get X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
It's, well, hold on a second. Let me sit back for a second and let me be grateful for what I have right now.
Right now.
That's hard to do, but once you do it, you feel better on the other end. I mean, it's almost like working out. Like you choose to do it, and then once you do it, you feel better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like, and it's a discipline that like you kind of have to, first, what you have to do is like what we're doing is say it out loud.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like shine a light on it. Like, okay. Yeah, hold on. I do need to be great. I've got I've got an amazing wife, got an amazing son. We've got a home that we love. You know what I mean? Like, and instead of always being like, man, I just need to make 30% more,
right?
You know, or I need to find this this other house that we want to live in, and you know, if we move to this other house, we won't have the same issues with our pipes, which is
right. Yeah. If it's not your pipes, it's something else. The yard keeps flooding, whatever.
Have mold.
You have mold.
Yeah. So I love that concept. It's something you got to work on. I mean, every day. I'll say it from my student. Something I have to work on every day.
Yeah.
And it feels good to talk about it out loud and hear yourself say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that.
Like, I mean, this is. One, I think we've talked about this, Bo, is the concept of like, we really, the most people we admire or really enjoy being around, the ones who are very present in front of us, versus the guy, you sat with and they're looking to the next thing, or trying to find that who's walking in the door that's a little bit more important than you, that kind of guy. But then you really think about even the ultimate man, right? Jesus, like, that dude was so present, he fell asleep in the middle of a storm on a boat. They had to wake him up.
Yeah.
You know? Like, he was so present. It's like, what's the problem? You know?
Not even that, but when he would perform a miracle and then he would say, well, don't tell anybody yet. Let's just chill.
Yeah.
We're not ready for this yet.
Yes.
And Peter and all these other disciples were like, when are we going to?
Which is a good example because he's aware of what's to come. He knows what he's moving towards. But this is the moment we're in. And I don't really want, 1 million followers on Instagram. Right? There's scrutiny that comes with that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How many followers would he have?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the thing is there's, the numbers you think of on the Instagram, if you even had that, which is this is a rabbit trail. Sorry for y'all out there, but this is wild to think about. And God understanding the concept of completely outside of time, that he chose to come in a time where there's no airplanes, no social media, no Zoom calls, streaming, whatever, right? And you're like, okay, he was putting it on us. That's what he's doing. You really think about it.
What do you mean by that?
Like, he was trying to create a very regional thing. He came, for the Jews.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and out of that would spread, and he wanted to activate the 12, which we saw, within 2,000 years, right? It's across a couple oceans, that's wild. Like, every religion generally has a region to it, except Christianity. Buddhism is more Far East, Hinduism is India. I mean, Islam is more Middle East, right? Even atheism is more restricted to Western culture, Europe, North America kind of thing, So it's like, it's interesting that you think about kind of that thought process. But anyway, a little bit of rabbit trail there. But anyway.
That's good. I love that.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, I mean, Christianity has shaped the world and the map that we live in. It's just, yeah. So
can't deny it.
Yeah. All right. So, Bo, you got some questions on this?
Yeah, I got some questions. Where do you see this mindset show up most in some guys today that you meet with? Like, what are some areas? We've probably talked about a few.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the obvious one is career and work.
That's mine, by the way.
Yeah.
That's definitely mine.
Well, how does that, how do you see that manifest?
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, so much of it is outside of my control in a good way, by the way.
Right.
I used not to believe that. I think in my 20s, I thought, oh, no, I need to be in a position where I'm in control.
Yeah.
And because this will kind of scratch that itch of having to wait on other people or like having to wait, you know what I mean? Seriously.
Wait on others. Yeah, man.
And so it would cause anxiety because it's like, oh, I haven't heard like this project that I'm working on. That's going to be the next Twitter.
Right.
Is, or whatever.
Oh, man.
Is, man, I'm waiting on somebody and I haven't heard back from them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that's just a small example, but, so it created anxiety because it's outside of my control, which, you know, looking back, I mean, it's totally, you know, God teaching me a lesson. Like, I'm not as interested in you getting that result. I'm more interested in the lesson that you're learning right now.
Yes.
Which is hard to see until you're like 10 years removed, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes. But yeah, anxiety for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the obvious one is Matthew 6, right? Do not worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow worry about self. Right. And I think that is so hard because you're right. Even in a sales role where there is a level of control, at the end of the day, the older you get, the more you realize, like, I can't control anybody. The only thing I can control is me.
Yeah, that's right.
I can put forth the best effort.
Yeah.
And, you know, leave it all on the field mindset, right? I hate to, this is such a cheesy term, but it's true. And just go, and just, all right, the result is result. God, you bring about the fruit. You know, whether I get paid more money or not, like, you know, that's a wild thought. I mean, it's the whole concept that, sometimes are we okay with, leaving the result up to God, right? Leaving the result up to somebody else.
That's hard.
Dude, yeah. That lack
Especially
of control.
When mistakes are high.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
And we can want to make it happen on our timing. I think that's sometimes where we feel like we've seen people do it on their own timing. Like I for years wanted to be a very type A driver, make things happen type personality, but it just
because that's what you saw be successful.
That's what success is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, you think, but then you start really looking at the fruit of those guys' lives, like divorce, broken friendships. You know, I mean, the obvious one is like the unicorns of our generation, right? The Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musk, you know, of the world, where you're like, there's something admirable about them, but also like going back to what we've already talked about, sacrifice. Like, did they, in the midst of like being the driver of their own destiny, did they miss all right, they gave up something else.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That maybe sacrificed their joy, their happiness, their contentment, their fulfillment. And it's like, well, the grind was their fulfillment. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah.
You seen Social Network, the movie?
Oh, it's a great movie.
So good. It's like probably one of my top 10 favorite movies.
100%.
Dude, the people that he burned to get, talking about Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Or Zuckerberg?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg. Speaking of that, what's a mistake you see commonly made by guys that you meet with in their 20s and 30s? So if you're listening to this and you hear, you know, when they're in this unsettling.
Oh, dude, this one just pop. This one is like the dating via image.
What do you mean?
Like the woman I'm currently with, I really love being with. She seems like she would make a great mom, great wife, super, you know, the whole, like we have similar values, similar interests. We can spend large time together, but she didn't quite look like I thought the person I wanted to marry. And you're like, oh, don't do that. Do not do that. One is like the obvious thing is like, dude, you ain't no Adonis. I didn't realize you're Bruce Wayne, 6'4", 220, throwing 300 pounds around. Like, no, sorry. But two, it's like the whole, like, it's just being image conscious in your dating, like constantly. I mean, maybe that person, maybe I should have somebody that looks different or, or it may not even just be looks. It could be a whole other things of like background, whatever. We constantly see, oh, there could be somebody better versus like, oh man, I'm with a great woman. Like,
yeah. So you're hitting the point of always just, it could be better.
Sense. Yeah.
Could be better. Let's go to the Americas and and it was, thank goodness they did that, by the way. Yeah. But, man, if we just, she's great, but God, if I could just get this one thing about this person or whatever, it could be better.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney's single now. Yeah. Oh man. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Which and you're sitting there and thinking about, I was like, man, what sustains a long-term meaningful relationship, especially marriage, is like, looks or even, fame, whatever, or wealth. All those things do not sustain something like that. I mean, to me, it all comes down to attraction, obviously part of it, but like, like attraction, but more than that, it's like common values and common interests. Like, can you spend large amounts of time together and you believe generally the same stuff?
Yeah.
It's like,
thank goodness our wives were not into looks.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Dude, I was late 30s, balding. Oh man. And she somehow like, thought I was great. She was 29-year-old, like,
yeah.
She picked this guy, whatever.
Yeah. Why would she do that? Yeah. What's something simple that guys can do that feel like they're stuck on that cycle? They're saying, hey, oh, that's me. I'm always thinking about the next thing. I'm always, which by the way, don't not do that.
Yeah.
We're not saying don't work
stop.
You guys understand the difference. But what's something simple they can do?
Yeah. One is, I think, taking the perspective of a holistic life. Like, there's other areas that I can focus on in my life. Sometimes we get obsessed in one area. Success looks like only success in this area, but maybe I need to take care of my body better. Maybe I need to be more in community. Maybe, it's just, I think thinking yourself as a more holistic person, like success in a holistic way, that's more meaningful. But two, it's just, put in the practice of like just putting stuff down. It's interesting, like, the polar opposite here is when, they talk about people in depression. The number one habit they deal with is rumination. They ruminate on where they're at, being stuck, and they just need some level of clarity of just getting out, just go do something. But I think, a lot of men, it's, we're talking about on the other end of the spectrum, it's like they're always doing something. Yeah. It's like, well, maybe how do you find that in between of like, how do I, this is what I talk about all the time, like just take stock of what's really motivating me, where, really where do I want to be? Ultimately, what kind of man I want to become? Is this what I want to be? As a guy who's working 10, 12-hour days and just grinding and putting my head down and avoiding the people in my life and, only taking phone calls of someone who could help me get somewhere versus helping somebody who can't. Yeah. I think learning that practice of evaluating yourself, evaluating your motives and who you want to be. But then two, like, okay, how do I actually just stop and be present with the person in front of me? I think that's one, like, hey, just go get I love, what's the country music song, Brad Pitt, Time Well Wasted. Like, learn to do stuff that's just like, it's just you're spending quality time with a human being, another human being, and you're there. That's it. You're not thinking about the result of it. You're not thinking about what this person can get me, or just be there.
Yeah. So it's in a way shifting your mindset from drive, ambition to how can I add value to the people around me right now?
Yeah.
Like, what's something I can do, or something that'll kind of consume some of that energy in a way, you know? And the only other thing I would add is just that gratitude piece of working that muscle.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the
learning how to do that.
Yeah. That, I would say when I say reevaluate your life is one way is one probably number one piece of that is gratitude.
Yeah.
And be thankful what's already right in front of you.
Yeah. What would you say to the person listening, if you could just give one takeaway as we kind of close? What's one takeaway, or the one thing that you would want them to remember from this?
Yeah. Well, I would, the obvious thing is like no man's an island. There is that lie, going back to talking about our idea of control. I think you got where you're at. You have ambition. You have opportunities to grow because somebody else did something for you, or gave you some type of platform, or hired you, or taught you something, and just learning all, like going back. I mean, like you said, gratitude. There's like a thankfulness of like, okay, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. Who has helped me get to this point? Mm-hmm. And now they're like helping me continue to grow into that person. Like, I think there is something to allow yourself to be reflective. And I'm trying to think who was the famous CEO, a very prominent, successful guy, and I heard it recently. I'm trying to remember his name, but
local guy?
No, not a local guy. But he said, like, the key to my success was I looked out the window for 15 minutes a day, allowing myself just to look, daydream, think, no computer, no phone, no nothing, no interruptions, just 15 minutes outside of just allowing myself just to think and process and refresh and like be thankful and all those things. Like, it's like, man, the ability to do that, just put something down, and like, I would say that's kind of like, hey, I mean, I keep saying it again, but that practice is huge.
Yeah.
And one of the things it makes you do is you realize you're not an island. You're not where you're at just because you willed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
which would then force you to look back and be like, oh, wow, no, God has had my back this entire time, and that's what he's gotten me out of, and this situation won't be any different, The only thing I would add to that too is something that works for me. You hear kind of like, it's kind of like, it's a little bit hyped up to journal, like you hear about, I was like to journal.
Mm-hmm.
I never really understood kind of the purpose behind it. I started doing it a few years ago, just to kind of like, almost like a brain dump sometimes. Sometimes you just have to write it down and
get it out.
Yeah, my wife and I will do this sometimes. We both feel like, man, we've got so much on our mind and we don't really know where to start.
Yeah.
Just write everything down, or you're feeling anxious about something, write it down. And then when you read it back, you could kind of see it from a different perspective in a way.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, like, it's really fun to look back at stuff I wrote down 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, most of the time I'm like, oh, you idiot. But, but there's like this, it kind of will re-energize your faith in a way, just seeing what you've been through and see, stuff like that. So there's plenty of things that we go back and read, my wife and I, and we're like, wow, really grateful for where we are, and never really would have thought we'd be where we are.
Yeah.
Back then, when I was so anxious about this one thing that I wanted to control that I couldn't control, and that I just wasn't settled because I wanted a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And now there's so many times where I'm like, thank you, God, for not giving me that thing.
Yeah.
100%. And then some of the times it's like, thank you, God, for really coming through for that thing that I want.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. At the end of the day, I mean, it's funny. I put this as my senior verse, because I went to a Christian school.
Yeah.
We had a senior verse, right? I think Proverbs 16:9, maybe. Many of the plans in a man's heart was the Lord purpose that prevails. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's like, gosh, being able to write those down. And when you write it down, it's a brain dump. There's also like almost like giving it to God.
It is.
Giving it all right.
Allowing it to leave your head and live somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
As simple as that sounds, it kind of does work that way. At least for me. I don't know. And for my wife too. She's notoriously writing things down. Carly will write down, like, if she's writing down a brain dump, her first thing will be like, do a brain dump. And so she can check it off, And so she's
my gosh, that is so meta
to her, where she's like, I could check that off. That's cool.
My wife is really good about especially when she's anxious, is writing down her prayers. And I think it's just something about that is therapeutic.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then you can see it and read it, and you're just like, okay, God. Yeah. One is like, hey, am I still honoring you in the midst of it as I read it? And I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. But two, it's like, okay, I'm giving this to you. But it's wild, man. Yeah. I mean, I think we could evaluate this at career, our relationships. We could think of it in our finances. Like, it's wild. Yeah, I just think about, you think about what brought us here to the U.S., our ancestors, all, you just put that all in context, and this mode of like entrepreneurship, and then you get in the context of comparison. Like, I should be here at this point, and I'm not. Or you get to that thing like we've talked about, and it's like, what's the next?
Not great.
And you're just like, man, there's something to that momentum that is good, but also can be abusive. And it only leads to anxiety, disappointment.
Which affects all the people around you.
Yeah. Ultimately leads, separation, isolation.
Yeah.
All those things that at the end of the day really harm us.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah, well, then also like entitlement or jealousy. I should have this, but this person has it,
Yep.
And it's like, wow, it's like just all those things. I mean, I think it goes back to, is it 1 Timothy, for the love of money is the root of all evil. That's part of that mindset, that next thing. Like, I need to make more. I need to do more so I can get X. Like that love of money that can lead to entitlement, jealousy, isolation, all those things. I feel like I'm being preachy today, Bo.
That's perfect. And again, I mean, just kind of close this out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is going to be a common theme for us, because it's a common theme for all the guys that you talk to in their 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly something that I went through and go through, all the time. I mean, it's not something that goes away. So it's going to be a common theme for I think a lot of stuff that we talk about, because it'll continue to come up. Because like you said, if we talk about finances, this thing will come up. Mm-hmm. This idea that I just want more. If I could get more, it'll come up in career, because, man, I feel like if I could just get a little bit more respect with this title.
Yeah.
It'll come up in, if we ever talk about, I don't know if you want us to talk about exercise. You're good at exercise, not me.
No,
yeah. If I could just have this next thing, and it's not, isolated to one thing that men deal with. It's going to be everything. So it might be we may talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you and I have talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Through your coaching of me over the last 5-6 years, I mean, this always comes up. And so a big piece of this is, like, for me, it's hear somebody else talk about it that you find yourself similar to. Hopefully you and I, like, same thing. They're going through the same thing I am.
Yeah.
And then also, I kind of like to wrap all these episodes up with this, is like, man, reach out to that person, whether it's Cartwright, somebody in your life that you can say it out loud to.
Yeah.
And that you can feel, I'm not the only one here. Help me come up with some ways to kind of like work on this so it doesn't affect all the people around me, and that I can become the man that I want to become, not necessarily the position I want to be in.
I think that's how C.S. Lewis defined friendship. Like, a man becomes friends with another man when he hears, oh, you too?
Yeah.
And I think that's 100%. I think in our 20s, we are holding so much of that in, because we're afraid of the judgment. We're afraid of the criticism, the belittling, the sarcasm, whatever it is, versus going, oh, dude, I hear you.
Yeah.
Been there. Or, you know what? Same.
Yeah.
And I think that's if we could just somehow get over that. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of close friendships are developed, is because you find people going, oh, dude, I hear him the same.
Yeah.
You know, versus, what do you, I don't want to go there, but anyway.
What's like you said, I think you said, one of the others says, you ain't special.
You ain't special. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't.
This is what we
But yeah, I think that's where friendships is really built depth, is when you're willing to share something like that and get a find out. You almost like test the waters. Like, hey, are you with me? Are you willing to hear me? Are you willing to stand with me in this, or you just want to step back and distance yourself from me?
Yeah.
Place yourself at a superior level of, oh, I don't deal with that, which is nonsense, you know. But I think a lot of us have built that practice up, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because we think that's how you talk to other men is through superiority, and
a lot of guys have seen it in the men that they look up to too over the years. Whether they, you know, around them as they were developing into men, they were around men that are dealing with what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. That level of humility is just really attractive.
Yeah, it takes a level of humility. Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. Well, the call to action, guys, talk to somebody if you feel like this is something that you can relate to, which I bet you can. If you're in your 20s and 30s, you know, please continue to listen to these episodes. We're going to talk about more stuff like this, and then also get in touch here at the Center for Executive Leadership, particularly Cartwright, and you know, talk it out. Join in the struggle with us.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to say it. Join the forging.
Join the forging.
The forging process.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Men of Forge podcast. If you like this podcast, please check us out on YouTube or follow us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen.